You woke up this morning and already felt defeated. The alarm screamed, your body felt heavy, and before your feet even touched the cold floor, your mind was already racing through every problem, every failure, every fear waiting for you today. You're exhausted. Not from lack of sleep, but from carrying the weight of a life that feels like it's constantly working against you. The bills, the relationship struggles, the career that seems to be going nowhere, the dreams that feel further away with each passing day. And here's what nobody tells you. This is exactly where the ancient Stoics wanted you to be. Because what I'm about to share with you in the next few minutes will fundamentally rewire how you experience every single morning for the rest of your life. Welcome to Stoic Mentality, where ancient wisdom meets modern transformation. Today, we're unlocking the most powerful psychological framework ever developed for turning suffering into strength, chaos into calm, and tragedy into triumph. It's called Amor Fati, the love of fate. And by the end of this video, you will understand why the most powerful morning routine isn't about cold showers, meditation apps, or green smoothies. It's about falling completely, irreversibly in love with your life, especially the parts that hurt the most. Stay with me. The visual ancient Stoic texts, Marcus Aurelius bust. 2,000 years ago, a Roman emperor woke up before dawn. His name was Marcus Aurelius. He ruled the most powerful empire the world had ever seen. He commanded armies. He held the fate of millions in his hands. And yet every single morning, he did something extraordinary. He sat in silence and reminded himself of one brutal truth. Today I shall meet with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness. Wait, what? The most powerful man in the world started his day by expecting the worst? This seems backwards. Every modern self-help guru tells you to visualize success, to affirm positivity, to manifest your dreams into reality. But Marcus Aurelius understood something they don't. He understood that hoping for a perfect day creates fragility, while preparing for a difficult day creates unshakable strength. This is the foundation of the Stoic morning routine, and it runs completely counter to everything you've been taught. You see, most people wake up with expectations. They expect the traffic to be smooth. They expect their boss to be fair. They expect their partner to understand them. They expect their body to cooperate. They expect life to follow the script they've written in their head. And when reality, as it always does, deviates from that script, frustration, anger, anxiety, despair, their entire emotional state becomes hostage to external circumstances they never controlled in the first place. The Stoic wakes up differently. The Stoic wakes up with acceptance, radical, complete, loving acceptance of whatever the day will bring. Not passive resignation, not defeated surrender, but active, powerful, chosen love for the full spectrum of human experience. This is Amor Fati, and it changes everything. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through a complete Stoic morning framework. 7 transformative practices that will shift your relationship with fate itself. This isn't theory. This isn't philosophy for philosophy's sake. This is a practical, battle-tested system for becoming psychologically invincible. Marcus Aurelius used it while fighting wars, burying children, and battling plague. Seneca used it while facing exile, false accusations, and eventually his own execution. Epictetus used it while living as a slave with a permanently crippled leg. If it worked for them, in circumstances you and I can barely imagine, it will work for you. But here's my warning, this video is not for everyone. If you're looking for quick fixes, comfortable lies, or easy affirmations, leave now. But if you're ready for truth even when it's uncomfortable, if you're ready to transform pain into power, if you're ready to stop fighting your life and start loving it, then let's begin. Task development. Lesson 1. The first waking thought. Visual. Close-up of eyes opening at dawn. The sacred first moment. The first 3 seconds after you open your eyes determine the trajectory of your entire day. Most people waste these seconds. They reach for their phone. They check notifications. They inject the world's chaos directly into their still waking consciousness. They hand over control of their mind before they've even claimed it. The Stoic does something different. The Stoic uses those first 3 seconds to make a choice. The most important choice of the day. Here is the practice. The moment your eyes open, before any thought of work or worry enters your mind, say these words, silently or aloud. I choose to love this day, whatever it brings. Simple? Yes. Powerful? Beyond measure. This statement does 3 things simultaneously. First, it establishes agency. You are not a victim of the day. You are a chooser. You have decided in advance how you will respond to whatever fate delivers. Second, it establishes unconditional acceptance. Notice the phrase, whatever it brings. You're not saying, I'll love this day if it goes well. You're saying you'll love it regardless. This is Amor Fati in its purest form. Third, it interrupts the automatic negativity bias. Your brain evolved to scan for threats. Left unchecked, it will find problems everywhere. This statement intercepts that programming and redirects your neural pathways toward love instead of fear. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, when you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. He didn't say, think about your to-do list. He didn't say, check if anything went wrong while you slept. He said to recognize the privilege of existence itself, because here's what we forget, you could have not woken up today. Death was 1 heartbeat away all night. It remains 1 heartbeat away right now. Your consciousness, this miraculous, improbable awareness that you experience as you, could have dissolved into the eternal void while you slept. But it didn't. You're here. And that simple fact, the fact that you get another day, deserves love. Not conditional love based on how the day performs. Unconditional love for the gift of existence. This is where the Stoic morning begins. Lesson 2, negative visualization, premeditatio malorum. Visual storm clouds gathering, then sun breaking through. Embracing what could go wrong. Now we arrive at the practice that seems most paradoxical to modern minds. Premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Each morning, the Stoics deliberately imagined everything that could go wrong. Seneca wrote, we are in the habit of saying that nothing happens to the wise man against his expectation. He has anticipated everything before it happened. Here's how you practice this. After your first waking statement of love, spend 2 minutes considering what difficulties might arise today. Not from a place of anxiety, not from a place of dread, but from a place of preparation and acceptance. Ask yourself, what could fail today? Who might disappoint me? What unexpected problem could arise? What physical discomfort might I experience? What frustrating obstacle could appear? Now here's the crucial part, the part that transforms this from morbid worry into liberating wisdom. For each difficulty you imagine, add the phrase, and I will love this too. Traffic might make me late, and I will love this too. My colleague might criticize my work, and I will love this too. My plans might fall apart completely, and I will love this too. My body might ache, and I will love this too. This is Amor Fati made practical. You're not hoping these things don't happen. You're not praying for their prevention. You're pre-accepting them. You're pre-loving them. Why does this work? Because suffering comes from the gap between expectation and reality. When you expect a smooth day and get a rough one, you suffer. When you expect success and meet failure, you suffer. When you expect kindness and receive cruelty, you suffer. But when you've already accepted, already loved, every possible outcome in advance, there is no gap. Reality cannot surprise you because you've already embraced every version of it. This is how Marcus Aurelius could write with such peace while his empire crumbled, while his children died, while disease swept through his camps. He had already loved these possibilities before they arrived. When they manifested, they found not resistance, but open arms. Key point visual. Here at his Stoic mentality, we understand something that most self-improvement channels miss completely. You cannot control what happens to you. You can only control how you receive what happens to you. And premeditatio malorum trains you to receive everything, absolutely everything, with love. Lesson 3, the morning journaling ritual. Visual, ancient scroll writing, then modern journal. Writing your way to wisdom. The Stoics were prolific writers. Marcus Aurelius never intended his meditations for publication. They were private journal entries, conversations with himself. Seneca wrote letters daily. Epictetus's teachings were recorded by a devoted student because the master spoke so powerfully. There's a reason writing was central to their practice. The act of writing transforms abstract feelings into concrete thoughts. It externalizes the internal chaos. It creates distance between you and your emotions. Here is the Stoic morning journaling practice. Each morning, after your visualization of difficulties, spend 5 minutes writing. Answer these 3 questions. Question 1. What is within my control today? This is the fundamental Stoic distinction, the dichotomy of control. You control your judgments, your intentions, your desires, your actions. You do not control other people's behavior, external events, outcomes, or circumstances. List specifically what you control today. Be concrete. I control my effort at work. I control my response to my partner's mood. I control whether I eat well. I control the quality of attention I give to each task. This list becomes your focus. Everything else, release it. Question 2. What would my highest self do today? The Stoics believed we each carry an inner sage, our best possible version. They called this our daimon, or guiding spirit. Your highest self is already within you. The question is whether you'll act from that self or from your lower impulses. So ask, if I were operating at my absolute peak with complete wisdom, courage, and virtue, what would I do today? Write specific actions, not vague intentions. My highest self would listen fully to my partner without interrupting. My highest self would tackle the difficult project first. My highest self would speak honestly, even when it's uncomfortable. Question 3. How will I love my fate today? This is where Amor Fati becomes actionable. Whatever difficulties you visualized in premeditatio malorum, how specifically will you love them? If traffic delays me, I will love it by using the time to practice deep breathing. If my colleague criticizes me, I will love it by genuinely considering if they're right. If my plans fail, I will love it by finding what new possibility has opened. This journaling practice takes 5 minutes. 5 minutes to transform your psychological orientation toward the entire day. 5 minutes to become the person who loves their fate instead of fighting it. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Morning journaling reverses this. It ensures you flourish more in imagination, so that reality, whatever it brings, finds you prepared and loving. Lesson 4. The Stoic meditation, voluntary discomfort. Visual, cold water, person breathing in cold shower. Choosing difficulty before it chooses you. Now we arrive at the practice that separates genuine Stoics from those who merely read about Stoicism. Voluntary discomfort. The Stoics deliberately chose difficulty each morning, not because they were masochists, but because they understood a profound truth. Comfort is the enemy of resilience. Every luxury you become dependent upon is a chain. Every softness you require is a weakness. Every ease you expect is a potential source of future suffering. Seneca regularly practiced poverty. He slept on hard surfaces. He ate plain food. He wore rough clothing. Not because he had to, he was wealthy, but because he wanted to train himself for any fate. He wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" Here is the modern application. Each morning, choose one act of deliberate discomfort. The cold shower has become famous, and for good reason. That first blast of cold water triggers a primal resistance in your body. Your lungs gasp, your mind screams to escape, and then you stay. You override the impulse to flee. You prove to yourself that you can endure what your instincts say you cannot. This is training for Amor Fati. Because when fate delivers unwanted circumstances, and it will, you need the psychological muscle to stay present instead of fleeing. The cold shower builds that muscle every single morning, but cold showers aren't the only option. Consider fasting until noon, hunger discomfort. Sleeping on the floor one night per week, physical discomfort. Waking earlier than comfortable, schedule discomfort. Speaking difficult truths you've been avoiding, social discomfort. The specific practice matters less than the principle. Choose difficulty before it chooses you. When you voluntarily embrace discomfort, involuntary discomfort loses its power over you. When you practice with small hardships, large hardships find you ready. This is the warrior's path, the path of the prepared soul. And it begins each morning with a choice most people are too weak to make. Strategic CTA, the hyper moment. Visual, channel logo, engagement graphics. Before we continue to the remaining practices, I need to speak directly to you for a moment. You're still here. That means you're not a casual viewer, you're a seeker. You understand that this wisdom, this ancient battle-tested wisdom, has the power to transform suffering into strength. And here at Stoic Mentality, we have a mission to bring this philosophy to everyone who is struggling, everyone who is lost, everyone who needs a framework for navigating this chaotic world. But we can only continue this mission with your help. Right now, I'm asking you to do something simple but powerful. Click the Menhipa button below this video. That hype is the currency that allows this channel to keep creating. It's how we reach more people who are suffering without purpose, without direction, without the tools to love their fate. Every single hype matters. If this video has given you value, if these practices are already shifting something in your mind, then pay it forward. One click. That's all it takes to help bring this wisdom to thousands of others who are waking up defeated, who are going to bed anxious, who desperately need what the Stoics taught. Click the hyper button now, and let's continue. Lesson 5. The Morning Study. Feeding the Mind. Visual, ancient library, books, philosophical texts. Reading as communion with the wise Epictetus said, "Don't just say you have read books. Show that through them you have learned to think better." The Stoics didn't read for information. They read for transformation. Each morning, they devoted time to studying wisdom, not to accumulate facts, but to reshape their character. Here is the practice. Spend 10 to 15 minutes each morning reading Stoic texts. Not scrolling social media, not checking news, not consuming content designed to agitate you. Slowly, deeply, read with the intention of application. Here are the essential texts. Marcus Aurelius, Meditations, the private journal of a philosopher king. Raw, honest, practical. Seneca, Letters from a Stoic. Warm, wise letters on how to live. Surprisingly modern in their concerns. Epictetus, the Enchiridion, a compact manual of Stoic practice. Every sentence is dense with meaning. But don't just read, commune. Imagine you're sitting across from Marcus Aurelius. He's speaking directly to you. His words are medicine for your specific wounds. Ask questions as you read. How does this apply to my current struggle? Where am I failing to live this principle? What would change if I truly believed this? The Stoics understood that wisdom must be ingested daily. Just as the body needs food each morning, the soul needs philosophy. Miss one day and perhaps nothing happens. Miss a week and you begin to slip. Miss a month and you've become what you were before, reactive, anxious, at the mercy of every external circumstance. Morning study is non-negotiable for the serious practitioner. It's not self-improvement, it's self-construction. You are building word by word the person you will be. Targeted Lesson 6, the memento mori moment. Visual, hourglass, skull imagery, tasteful, passing time. Death as the ultimate teacher. We've arrived at the practice modern culture most desperately avoids and most desperately needs. Memento mori. Remember that you will die. The Stoics meditated on death not to become morbid, but to become alive. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." Each morning, the Stoic confronts mortality directly. Here is the practice. After your reading, sit in stillness for 2 minutes. Contemplate. This could be my last morning, not as an anxiety-inducing thought, as a clarifying thought. If this were your last morning, what would matter? Would you worry about that Instagram comment? Would you stress about that minor work issue? Would you hold on to that petty grudge? Of course not. Death clarifies. Death prioritizes. Death reveals what actually matters. The Stoic channels this clarity into their living. When you remember that time is finite, genuinely remember it. Not as a cliché, but as a visceral truth. Everything shifts. Trivial problems reveal their triviality. Important relationships reveal their importance. Wasted time reveals its waste. This is why Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Memento mori stops the waste. It makes each morning precious because you recognize it as a gift that could be revoked at any moment. And here's the connection to Amor Fati. When you truly accept that you will die, when you embrace this ultimate fate, every other fate becomes easier to love. Difficult day? At least you're alive to experience it. Failed project? At least you're alive to try again. Broken relationship? At least you're alive to love again. Death puts everything in perspective, and that perspective enables the deepest Amor Fati, the love of this brief, beautiful, difficult existence in its entirety. Lesson 7, setting intention with virtue. Visual, compass, path forward, mountain ahead. The 4 pillars of daily direction. The Stoics organized all of ethics around 4 cardinal virtues. Wisdom, knowing what is good, what is bad, and what is neither. Courage, facing difficulty, danger, and discomfort with strength. Justice, treating others fairly with honesty and kindness. Temperance, practicing moderation, self-control, and discipline. The morning intention practice aligns your day with these virtues. Here is how. After your memento mori contemplation, ask yourself, how will I practice wisdom today? Perhaps I will pause before reacting emotionally. I will ask what a wise person would do before I act. I will distinguish between what I can control and what I cannot. How will I practice courage today? Perhaps I will have that difficult conversation I've been avoiding. I will pursue that goal even though failure is possible. I will speak my truth even if others disagree. How will I practice justice today? Perhaps I will give credit where it's due. I will treat the barista with the same respect I give my boss. I will keep my promises. How will I practice temperance today? Perhaps I will not overeat. I will not waste time on mindless scrolling. I will not let anger control my words. These intentions become your compass. Throughout the day, when choices arise, you can ask, does this align with my morning intention? This is how philosophy becomes practice. This is how Stoicism becomes a lived reality rather than an intellectual exercise. The Stoics didn't believe virtue was something you achieved once and possessed forever. They believed virtue was something you practiced and daily or lost. Your morning intention sets that practice in motion. Stoic, Lesson 8, the physical preparation. Visual, exercise, movement, body awakening. Honoring the body as tool of virtue. Some modern interpreters ignore the Stoic attitude toward the body. This is a mistake. While the Stoics emphasized that the body is ultimately an indifferent, neither good nor bad in itself, they also recognized it as the vessel through which virtue operates. A neglected body becomes an obstacle to virtue. A prepared body becomes an ally. Musonius Rufus, the great Stoic teacher, wrote extensively on physical training. He argued that philosophy requires bodily discipline because physical discomfort distracts from clear thinking, weakness limits virtuous action, bodily health enables sustained practice. The Stoic morning includes physical preparation. This doesn't require a gym membership or elaborate equipment. It requires movement. Here is a simple practice. Spend 10 to 15 minutes each morning moving your body with intention. This could be a walk in nature, practiced as moving meditation, basic calisthenics, push-ups, squats, stretches, yoga or similar mindful movement, vigorous exercise if that's your preference. The key is intention. You're not exercising for vanity. You're not exercising for mere health. You're preparing your body for virtue. You're ensuring that when courage is required, your body can answer. When temperance is needed, your body is not screaming with undischarged energy. When wisdom must be applied, your body is not fogging your mind with lethargy. As we discuss at Stoic Mentality, the goal is integration, mind, body, and soul, aligned in service of the good life. Physical morning practice is essential to this integration. Lesson 9, Amor Fati in full bloom, the sacred yes. Visual, beautiful sunrise, flower blooming, life flourishing. The ultimate embrace. Now we arrive at the capstone of the Stoic morning, the practice that unites all the others, the sacred yes. Here's what this means. After you've stated your love for the day, after you've visualized difficulties, after you've journaled, after you've chosen discomfort, after you've read wisdom, after you've contemplated death, after you've set your intentions, after you've moved your body, you stand. You face the day ahead and you say yes, not a reluctant yes, not a resigned yes, not a forced yes, a loving yes. Amor Fati means love of fate, and the sacred yes is how you declare that love. Nietzsche, deeply influenced by Stoicism, described this as, "My formula for greatness in a human being is Amor Fati, that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity." The sacred yes says, I want this day exactly as it will unfold, not despite its difficulties, including its difficulties, because the difficulties are not separate from the day. They are the day. The traffic, the frustrations, the setbacks, the disappointments, these are not interruptions to your life. They are your life. And to love your life means to love all of it. This is radical, this is transformative, this is liberation. Because when you truly say yes, when you truly love your fate, resistance dissolves. There's nothing to fight against, nothing to resent, nothing to escape. Just this day, this moment, this existence, fully embraced, fully loved. The sacred yes is not said once. It's said throughout the day whenever resistance arises. Traffic makes you late? Say yes. Project fails? Say yes. Body aches? Say yes. Relationship struggles? Say yes. Not yes as in, this is good, in some naive sense. Yes as in, this is what is, and I choose to love what is. This is the highest practice, the ultimate morning gift you give yourself. The Stoics lived this. Marcus Aurelius on the battlefield, Seneca facing Nero's tyranny, Epictetus in chains. They said yes, and in that yes they found freedom that no external circumstance could touch. Putting it all together, the complete routine. Visual, infographic showing the complete routine. Let me now give you the complete Stoic morning routine, synthesized into a practical sequence. Minute 01, the first waking statement. Eyes open. Before moving, say, I choose to love this day, whatever it brings. Minutes 1 to 3, premeditatio malorum. Still in bed or seated, visualize what could go wrong today. For each difficulty, add, and I will love this too. Minutes 3-8, morning journaling. Write answers to the 3 questions. What is within my control today? What would my higher self do today? How will I love my fate today? Minutes 8-12, voluntary discomfort. Cold shower or another chosen difficulty. Practice staying present with discomfort. Minutes 12 to 25, morning study. Read Stoic texts slowly with intention for application. Commune with the ancient wisdom. Minutes 25 to 27, memento mori. Contemplate death. Ask, if this were my last morning, what would matter? Minutes 27-30, virtue intention. Set specific intentions for wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Minutes 30-45, physical preparation. Move your body with intention. Prepare the vessel for virtue. Minute 45 plus, the sacred yes. Stand, face the day. Say yes with love to whatever will come. Total time, 45 minutes. Is this a significant investment? Yes. Is it worth it? Beyond measure. These 45 minutes will transform the other 15 plus hours of your waking day. They will transform your relationship with difficulty. They will transform your relationship with fate itself. You will become, over time, psychologically invincible, not because bad things stop happening, but because you've learned to love them when they do. Visual, epic sweeping shot, sunrise, channel logo. We've covered immense ground together, from the first waking thought to the sacred yes. You now possess a complete framework for transforming your mornings, and through your mornings, your entire life. But let me leave you with one final truth. None of this works if you only watch. Stoicism is not a spectator philosophy. It's not something you consume, it's something you practice. The Stoics called themselves athletes of the mind. Athletes don't get stronger by watching training videos. They get stronger by training. Tomorrow morning, not next week, not when conditions are perfect. Tomorrow morning, you begin. Start with one practice if the full routine feels overwhelming. The first waking statement alone will begin to shift your orientation. Then add another and another. Within a month, you will be a different person. Not because you've acquired new information, because you've forged new neural pathways through daily practice. You will have become someone who loves their fate. Now I want to hear from you. If you've made it this far, if you're truly committed to this path, leave a comment with the word Amor. This single word tells me you're not a passive viewer. You're a practitioner, a seeker, someone ready to transform. When I see Amor in the comments, I know I'm reaching the right people. I read every comment. I see every practitioner. And this community, this Stoic mentality family, is built on those who don't just watch, but who practice. Type Amor right now. You now understand the Stoic morning routine. You understand Amor Fati, but there's a crucial companion piece to this wisdom. If mornings are about preparing per assailant for difficulty, evenings are about processing. What actually happened? The Stoics had an equally powerful evening routine, a practice of reflection, self-examination, and preparation for rest. Without it, you're only getting half the equation. I've created a complete video on the Stoic evening routine that perfectly complements what you've learned today. Click the video appearing on your screen right now. It will show you how to review your day without judgment, the evening journaling practice of Seneca, how to release the day's difficulties before sleep, preparing your mind for deep, restorative rest. Together, morning and evening practices create a complete cycle of transformation. You wake with intention. You live with virtue. You rest with peace. Click the video now. Continue your journey. Remember, you cannot control what happens to you. You can only control how you respond. And the highest response, the response that leads to true freedom, is love of fate. Amor Fati. Starting tomorrow morning. I'll see you in the next video. Stoic mentality, ancient wisdom, modern transformation. Subscribe, practice, transform.